I have mentioned why people attain poor health in illness. Is the body meant to become ill? I think everyone is probably puzzled by this question. It might be more interesting for you to hear of an anecdote. Let me tell you first about my own journey towards illness. The first onset of my heart disease happened around my junior year in high school. When it first happened, all I noticed was that everything around me turned black, even though my eyes were open. This has happened to me before, and when it happens, I have to squat down quickly so I won't faint. A person's heart beats at a rate of about 70 beats per minute. If it beats at 300 times per minute, the heart is pumping too quickly, where it doesn't pump out enough blood to reach the brain. Because the brain is not receiving enough oxygen from the blood, it results in the blackout you experience with your eyes. After that first onset, this would happen to me sometimes about every 2 to 3 months, or sometimes 2 to 3 times in 1 month. One time, it happened to me at about midnight and lasted until 5 o'clock in the morning. During the entire 5 hours, my heart was beating at 300 times per minute. So I often tell heart patients with rapid heart rate, don't worry about it. Your heart can beat 300 times per minute and you will still survive because I am living proof. So you can see how strong our hearts are. When people tell me that their hearts are beating too fast at a rate of 100 to 150, I say to them, don't tell me about it. It's barely half of mine. Medically, this is called PSVT, or short for paroxysmal supraventricular tachycardia. The symptom of this is a rapid heart rate that occurs from time to time. The reason for this is a problem which exists with the electric current to the heart being caught in a re-entrant loop. This ends up stimulating the heart excessively. This illness has given me a lot of headaches because it often comes out of nowhere. Previously, I was probably running from it because I didn't want to face it. Even at that time, I didn't go to any doctors because I had graduated from medical school myself, so I know what it is. At that time, the way to treat this is through electrical cardioversion, also known as shock therapy. I was already implementing the body, mind, and spirit methodologies, so I never went back for a checkup. Eventually, I ended up working in the emergency room as my rotation. I was pretty happy working there. I often see many people come in with the same illness that I had, being pushed in during the middle of the night, lying there and receiving IV medication. I would tell them, you know, I have the same illness that you have. They look at me with disbelief. They say to me, if we have the same things, then how can you be there saving me? I tell them, I'm sorry, but it's too bad you didn't learn about the body, mind, and spirit. This has also happened to me while I was swimming. It would occur right in the middle of my swim. When this happens to most people, they are filled immediately with fear. They will call the ambulance right away and be rushed to the emergency room. They will most likely receive adenosine, an IV medication that brings down the heart rate. Eventually, as my study of the body, mind, and spirit got more in-depth, I was able to enhance my own thought process. Even as I feel the onset of the rapid heart rate during one of my swim sessions, I let it take care of itself while I continue with my swim. And in about 30 seconds, my heart rate would slow down on its own. Up until now, I have not taken a single pill for this illness. It sounds miraculous. Most people don't even believe me when I tell them. It is certainly very interesting. I have not had recurrence of this illness for many years now. What I want to tell all of you is that I hope you will travel to this direction where you claim back your body's true abilities. I will give you another one of my examples. In my family, there are 3 people with kidney diseases. One person had a right kidney that is full of stones. There must have been thousands. Eventually, he removed his whole kidney. Then there's my older sister. When she was younger, she had proteinuria, which means that she was diagnosed with a high level of protein loss in the urine. This caused her to retain fluid and swell up. Then there's my older brother. He has gout, and for a time, he also had high blood pressure. Gout is an acute disease characterized by painful inflammation of the joint due to an excess uric acid in the blood. My older sister also developed gout shortly after. Women usually will not develop gout premenopause. It usually develops postmenopause. So both of them had gout. Then about 3 years ago, my ankle swelled up all of a sudden. At first I thought I sprained it, because what else can it be? It must be a sprained ankle. Then the next day, I realized it probably was gout. The first time I had gout, my first thought was, wow, we really are from the same family. But what I meant by the same family is not that we all inherited the same disease. First, let me clarify here what I mean by inherited disease. I classify inherited disease as those found at birth, such as lower IQ, missing limbs, disfigurement, or other diseases which a person is born with. All else, such as cancer, diabetes, high blood pressure, and other chronic illnesses, I want to tell you, please don't think of it as an inherited disease. This is because once you develop the thought that you may inherit something, then you are likely to make that inherited trait a reality. So during my first onset of gout, I already knew. In my subconsciousness, I knew that I will get the same disease as my brother and sister. However, our outcomes will be different. This is because every time I talk to them about the body, mind, and spirit outlook, it falls on deaf ears. To them, medicine is much more practical. They have tried every medication under the sun. Then I realized that in my subconsciousness, I want to let myself get the same disease they got to show them how I will take an alternate path. It didn't matter how much I preached to them previously because they wouldn't hear of it, so I might as well show them. But I want to be honest here and let's share the fact that during that time, I was faced with a lot of pressure at work. This is something I cannot run from. In all honesty speaking, the first time it happened, it ended okay. The second time, which was about 2 years ago, my whole leg swelled up like a balloon. There are 2 traits of gout. The first is that the pain and swelling comes and goes without warning. The pain is so intense that you almost want to just chop off your leg. When a person is in so much pain, what can he do? From its initial onset till now, I have not taken a single pill to treat it. I started to return to my inner self. I wanted to connect with my inner emotions. I started meditating and eventually entered into a trance. In this trance, I don't feel my pain. From that day forward, I was no longer afraid of any physical pain. From that day forward, I discovered that through the practice of using my body, mind, and spirit, I can stop my pain without using any pain medication. From that day forward, I developed a great sense of confidence and ease towards all the pain that I may experience in my lifetime. What I mean by this is that I am able to reach an inner peace by working through my pain. This is very interesting. What this means is that if someone is suffering through the most intense pain he has ever experienced in his lifetime and can use the body, mind, and spirit to reach an inner peace and be at ease with himself, then do you think this person at his deathbed, who may be experiencing intense pain, will develop fear and be afraid? If there is an opportunity, I would like to share this thought process with you. It doesn't matter what kind of pain you will experience, or even the pain you may experience one day in your deathbed. You cannot just rely on morphine alone to ease your pain. There is no such thing. When my brother was suffering from so much pain from gout, he had to rely on medication to ease his pain. He was in awe of the fact that I didn't have to use medication to conquer my pain. This was because I was able to connect my mind and spirit to my physical body. Once we make that connection, we have to slowly ease its pain. In the future, I would like to discuss with you on how to face the pain that you may experience before you're passing on. Many people have said they are not afraid of dying. Rather, they are afraid of the pain. The pain can be so intense that you'll go crazy. We must learn how to bring ourselves back to our inner selves during that time. Perhaps we can enter into a trance where you will not experience any pain. You will experience a very strong sensation, but that sensation will no longer be pain. It's terrific, isn't it? Does this pique your interest? Right now, what I can tell you is that if you decide to do this, we will fully support you. If you decide not to do this, you will also receive our fullest support. I don't want you to feel like just because you cannot withstand the pain that you have to give up. Just so you know where I stand on this issue, if you decide to do this, everyone will support you and wish you the best. If you decide not to do this, sometimes this means that you need even more support and encouragement. Honestly speaking, I treat you as if you are part of my family. I talk to you as if you are my relatives. This is how I feel when I share my stories with you, including stories about my mother. There was a period of time that my mother was ready to start taking blood pressure medications to keep it under control. However, I kept helping her establish new beliefs. I even tried to negotiate with her by telling her that if her blood pressure goes up to 170 or 180, then she can take one pill. But if she was better, she would stop. Today, her blood pressure is stable. This is because when you are debating on whether to take a medication or not, you may hesitate. When you do finally decide to take it, often you will become dependent on it. What I was trying to do was prevent my mother from becoming dependent on it. Then I slowly guide her towards a path where even now, if she doesn't take the medication, she will be fine. I did not want her to take the medication. Today, we are all learning the body, mind, and spirit modality. I don't want you to face big challenges immediately, like blood pressure. I want you to practice on minor headaches or upset stomachs. See if you can avoid taking medication. You can start with something minor and then work your way up. Because unless you are someone like me who is very strong-willed, it is not something everyone can achieve right away. I hope you can start working on your consciousness and subconsciousness with small challenges and then work your way up. You can start small so that you can build your confidence. I'm not asking you to avoid seeing the doctor or take medication. The point is this: if I have a better way to wellness, why wouldn't I choose it? So please don't confuse the issue here. It's not because you don't want to do chemo that you're doing this. It's because you have a better way. So why should you choose an inferior method? This is an entirely different mindset. It's not because I don't want to take medicine or see the doctor. It is because I have a better choice, so I want to choose it. What we are essentially doing is upgrading our care to ourselves. It is not as if we have no other way, so we have to choose the inferior choice because everyone says to. I really want everyone to be able to upgrade your life. If you can use a better method, one without side effects, why would you not choose that? This is the direction that we are all working towards. Everyone can start from a small ailment, accumulate your success and confidence, and then face bigger challenges. You will be healthier than you were before. This reminds me of the time when I had a herniated intervertebral disc. The herniated disc put a lot of pressure on my sciatic nerve, which was very painful. I want to share something with you. A doctor doesn't necessarily know your body better than you. You are with your body 24 hours a day. You only see the doctor for 5 to 10 minutes at a time. Why do you need to depend on a doctor to tell you whether you are healthy or not? That is why we are taking this direction of using the body, mind, and spirit. I want to show you how you have the ability and opportunity to look inward, and what you'll see will be more powerful than looking at x-rays or examining blood work. This is the direction we are taking. We must upgrade together. In the future, we may not necessarily need x-rays or blood work to see the condition of our health. We can look inward at our own health without having to spend the money. What we talked about today is a huge breakthrough. I am both a physician and a psychiatrist. Logically speaking, I understand very well the composition of the human body. I understand how the human body can contract different types of ailment. Growing up, I have seen too many sick people. As a doctor, I see many sick patients every day. Why do people get sick? People believe that this is the passage to life. You are born, you grow old, you get sick, and then you die. Before I studied the body, mind, and spirit, I used to believe the same thing. I believe that it is very easy for people to get sick. One of my old directors used to tell me that people are like machines. If one part breaks down, you can replace it with another one. If you break your hip, you can put in a titanium one. In the future, we can replace different organs. So our belief has always been that the body is fragile. It gets sick easily. This is especially true with regards to cancer. In the recent years, cancer further proves our belief that the body is fragile. Out of every 3 to 4 people, there will be one with cancer. there is a newly diagnosed cancer patient every 9 minutes and 20 seconds. So many people get it. It doesn't matter if it's your family or your neighbors. Cancer is an illness that further reaffirms our belief that our bodies are fragile and can get sick easily in a way that you wouldn't realize. It is often too late by the time you discover you have cancer. It makes you feel like you have a time bomb hidden inside your body. You don't know when it will blow you up into pieces. How can you have joy and peace of mind? We live in the fear that we won't know at a moment's notice when we will get sick. This is especially true as we age. We don't know when we will get a stroke or Alzheimer's. Are we constantly living in fear and worry? Many older people love to hang out at the doctor's office and the hospital. What I witness is that everyone lives in this constant fear and worry. It is true that we see so many sick people around us. This is especially true for me as a doctor. I am surrounded by so many sick people every day. I still have to tell you about a very profound law of being that I have come to realize. Please remember this. The human body is not meant to get sick. What I am telling you is the original intention of the human body. This is different from what everyone sees right now. The human body's intention is not meant to get sick. It is actually very difficult for the human body to get sick. It is actually very difficult for the body to become cancerous. Once you do get cancer, and that the cure of it is also very difficult. Try to put my belief in your mind. Just try it for 3 to 6 months and see if it made any changes. The law of being that I want to reiterate to you is that the human body does not get sick easily. And if it does get sick, it is actually easy to heal it. It is actually hard for it to stay sick. Now I know that this goes against everything that you believe. I know that the reason why I exist is to bring you this message. I know that by now you are all skeptical and full of questions. I have some questions for you. In a religion, do people have an original form of being or an original spiritual self? In our society now, are there people who deviated from their original God-given spiritual self and are displaying their primal animalistic self? The answer is yes, correct? So do you think that these people are showing their true human form or a twisted one? Yes, it's a twisted human form. What if I tell you that the human body, the human cells, and DNA is originally as perfect as the original God-given self, and that the reason why people get sick is not the original intention of the human body? What if I tell you that these illnesses are a result of a twisted form of human spirit? Then it will be easy to pursue good health because good health is something that comes naturally. What's happening now is that people are convinced that they are not healthy first and then chasing after good health. This is silly. This is like you convincing yourself that you have already failed and then try to chase after success. What is the likelihood for you to succeed under those circumstances? You have lost before you even started. Our most basic belief is that we are already healthy. Good health is your God-given right and something that belongs to you without having to chase after it. This is the reason for all of my series of discussions. They are here to help you find what rightfully belongs to you. Let me give you a medical example. Everyone has heard of AIDS. Why is AIDS still incurable? What the AIDS virus does is it picks on the human immune system. If a person loses his or her immune system, then nothing can save them, right? What's the thing that keeps a person healthy? Medicine or immune system? If you get a bad cut on your hand and you go to the doctor, what the doctor can do for you is clean out your wound and sew it up. But who actually heals the wound? There is a very strong hidden innate inner force in the human body. But frankly speaking, the entire medical field in the last 200 to 300 years continually twists the original intent of the human body by using medical advances to bring you good health. It starts by discrediting human nature and the law of being, and instead uses medical technology in its place. They don't realize that medical technology is here to assist human nature and intent, and not here to take its place. Originally, all the medical advances stress that the human intent is to be healthy, and people may use the medical field as an aid to help you return to good health. However, the current humankind has twisted the cause and effect because our beliefs have been twisted. So when something like SARS came, we fell prey to it because we believe that our health comes from our medicine and medical advances. This is wrong. Medicine and medical advances are here to assist us. Our purpose is to guide ourselves back to the original intent of our being and ourselves. What I am telling you is a great revelation. Health is something you already possess and not something you pursue. For you to let yourself get sick is really not that easy. As long as you don't get in the way of your own body, it has a tremendous amount of power to get back to good health. We never give our bodies enough faith to do so. I have to tell you that when I first realized this, I was stunned. It actually is that easy to say healthy and natural. In the past, all my knowledge was just an obstacle that prevented me from seeing this. This revelation finally allowed me to return to my naturally God-given state of being. It is my greatest hope that all of you return to your natural God-given state of being. You can create good health through the state of being. I am asking you today to replace your belief on health. You have to remind yourself every day. You have to remind yourself every day. We have been brainwashed for so long to believe that we can get sick at a moment's notice, that there is nothing we can do about it other than to take our medication. We have been brainwashed in a negative way through the things we watch on TV and read in the magazines. From now on, if you read anything in the paper regarding health that is negative or fills you with fear, stop reading it, because we are supposed to absorb information that is positive and will influence us in a positive way. However, so much of what we read further increases our anxiety and fear. If you find that the information you absorb from the media starts to make you lose faith in your own health, for example, you think every time you cough, it must be the early phase of lung cancer, then go see a doctor. Don't sit there and wallow in your own fear. Don't sit there and feel conflicted about me telling you not to go to the doctor. Just go for your own peace of mind. If you find that all the information you are receiving is letting you become more paranoid and fearful, then you must make a choice. Otherwise, your health will deteriorate like so many others. I am sharing with you all of my own experiences. I'm a little worried that by now you must be wondering, are you a real doctor? Let me be even more in-depth with you. Why is it that I can tell you that the human body is naturally in a healthy state? This is because through my research on the body, mind, and spirit, I start by asking, where did the first cell come from? To, how was the earth formed? To, where do human beings come from? When all the human cells are being formed, it is being created with all the love and wisdom from the universe. The most basic makeup of the universe is made up of small particles called units of consciousness. It is even smaller than an electron. Its speed is faster than the speed of light. The earliest form of life comes from units of consciousness. Every atom and molecule has its own consciousness, including a table. You may all think that this table doesn't have a life. However, it does possess its own consciousness. Everything on the earth, including the mountain and ocean, is living. Everything that we see is made concrete through our inner wisdom. This is no different than what the scientists have discovered, except that it is deeper and more profound. Let me give you an example. If I was to build a factory today to produce one of the cells of our body, how big do you think the factory will be? It will be as big as the earth. Many doctors know about the functions of different cells, but they don't understand the hidden wisdom and holiness in those cells. What we need to learn right now is how to bring out our inner light, love, wisdom, and holiness that exists within ourselves. You have probably never heard of these types of theories, right? What we want to do is to return every cell in our body to its original intent and purpose. Through thousands of years of twisted thoughts, distrust, fear, and paranoia, our cells suffers amnesia, so it gets sick, so it gets cancer, so it gets chronic diseases such as diabetes and high blood pressure. All of the natural wisdom that exists in our human cells has been covered. I have been studying this for the past 20 years. I have come to my own realizations, and it has been my wish to share it with the world. Last year, I went to give seminars in Vancouver, Seattle, San Francisco, and Los Angeles. This is all in the hopes of spreading this type of body, mind, and spirit philosophy to everyone. I really feel like in a time like ours, we really need to travel down this type of body, mind, and spirit path to make a difference and create a new lifestyle for ourselves. I don't know if you realize or remember this, but when I was younger, the weather was much more stable and predictable. However, probably in the last 10 years or so, the weather has become very unpredictable. Sometimes the winters are really hot and the summers are really cold. In the future, all of us are changing. With all these earthquakes and tsunamis, you can see that the earth is releasing its energy. This is representative of mankind. All of us are releasing the energy that exists within our inner spirit. If we don't raise our own consciousness, then many people's lives will become chaotic, which will result in a manifestation such as wars, illnesses, and occults. This world will become more chaotic. Within all the chaos, we need to choose a better road for ourselves to travel. In the future, changes will happen faster and faster. In the past, things can stay status quo for 10 or 20 years. Now you see that changes occur every single year. I really believe that in the future, the world will be traveling down this direction. I can clearly see that. Many people have developed cancer in the past, but it went undiagnosed. It is gone before you know it, because you experienced a turning point in your life, such as getting out of a job that you really disliked, or getting out of a painful marriage. Perhaps at the time you experienced your inner pain, you may have a tumor 1 or 2 centimeters big that you are totally unaware of, and yet you didn't seek out for a doctor. Many people have cancerous cells in their body at one point or another, and cure themselves of it without ever being aware of this. Many people die out of fear from the cancer because they believe that the cancer follows a certain roadmap. This is because you have been brainwashed and hypnotized to believe that. For example, if you get nasal cancer, you may think that it will eventually put pressure on certain nerves or whatever roadmap that you think it follows. You will end up following that roadmap. Is that necessarily true? Do you have to follow that roadmap? Why can't you choose to believe that the cancer cells will disappear one by one until there are none left? It is because no one ever told you to do so. That is why most people are continuously brainwashed to see negative results and continue to follow down that path and not be able to turn around and walk the other way. The reason I am here today is to brainwash you. You must decide for yourself what your next step is. Stop letting all the excess information out there direct you. Many people believe that once you get liver cancer, it will slowly grow, become painful, get swollen, and retain water. The more the water retention gets close to the surface, the higher the chance that it will erupt, and then you will die. You probably have committed this to your memory and repeated to yourself many times. Don't you think all these thoughts have been entered into your subconsciousness? Did it get into you on a cellular level? Even if your cancer cell is thinking, "Master, please, I don't want to get bigger anymore," what is your response? You have to, because that's what I read in the papers. The cancer thinks, "Master, you have changed your life and you are happy. Can I please stop growing?" You say, "No, you can't. You are a cancer cell, and the doctor told me that you will grow." I am not joking. Do you know how many people die this way? You have to break the chain. If you can break this chain of thought, then you will be saved. We often live in a world of self-control without realizing it. Our confidence has been destroyed. Your fear has become the most powerful agent in spreading your cancer. Many people did not have to get or spread this cancer, but their fear helped them achieve this. This is trying to demonstrate to you that in the future, when you go out into society, don't bring your fear. Just bring peace and joy in your heart. Like my example before with the nasal cancer, most people know of the roadmap it follows. But does everyone have to follow that road? No. Currently, the medical field doesn't take people's thoughts and intentions into consideration. A person's thought is a tool that creates his or her own reality. A change in a person's thought, emotions, and energy can change his or her cancer cells instantaneously. This is because the energy field surrounding your thought is a very powerful one. An instantaneous change in a thought can bring on an instantaneous healing of a cancer cell. However, I must tell you honestly that this is very difficult to do in our society right now. All the negative thoughts and beliefs are all coming through. Our head is filled with all miscellaneous and chaotic information. If there is a chance, I want you to practice unifying your thoughts without chaos to the point that you believe that you can live every day as if you have forever, and not just a few days or weeks or months that the doctor told you that you have left to live. I want you to live brilliantly. So many people live to their ripe old age without much ripple. And for what? You have to live your life's true purpose. Once you do that, you will extend your life. Every illness has its own special characteristics. I have studied all these illnesses for many years. Just to give you an example, when my father found out that my brother wants to leave home to become a Buddhist monk, his whole back went out. His whole back went out because he was filled with incredible sadness and despair. Many people have spinal pain for a few reasons. First of all, your spine is a support to your life. Your spine doesn't just support your head, neck, and body. It also supports the baggage in your life. Does a person carry a heavy baggage in his life? A person may be carrying on the weight of his whole family and career and feels bombarded. Many back problems arise from negative energy that did not get released. Many people have back problems because they did not feel like they have support and that they are battling the world by themselves. If you are one of these people that have experienced back pain, it is because you have let yourself carry too heavy of a load in your life and you feel like you are alone in this. You did not get any support. These are all really big theories. Just follow this direction to see if you can find a healing process for yourself.